Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Monday, December 2nd. I hope you had a great last week was Thanksgiving. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving and a great weekend. And now we are into the final month of the year, December 2nd. November finished very strong. As I mentioned, coming into like mid-month, towards the end of the month, we're going to have big fiscal flows. And we were going to be very strong on the indexes, and that's exactly what happened. We did see bond yields come down. I mean, they hit the 10-year Treasury yield hit 4.18 today, and that was the lowest level in 2 months. So we have an economic number coming out at the end of this week on Friday, which is the job report for November. And of course, all the monetarists are going to be like getting ready to jump and go crazy and reflexively react when they see that number. But I don't pay attention to one number. I look at the trend. I look at basic conditions, and I look at the trend of what's happening. And right now, that yield is coming down. We had a very significant spike in the fiscal flows in the last month in November. And that's over for this cycle. By cycle, I mean, this quarter. December, the flows will come back to, quote unquote normal, which is still very high, okay? But it's not that enormous spike where, we were like trending 750, 800 billion monthly leading flows. I mean, that's freaking enormous. So it's going to come back down to like, 650, which is still freaking enormous, okay? But it's like we got a shot of steroids in November, and it juiced the markets up, it juiced risk assets up. And I think as these flows kind of trend back down, reversion to the mean, so to speak, trend back down towards what they normally are on a monthly basis, we could see a little bit of a pullback in risk assets, stocks, gold, commodities. I think the dollar could benefit from this, okay? So we had some weakness in the dollar over the last week or two, and I think that's an opportunity, to buy dollars here. So I think they'll be, I think the dollar will recover. Anyway, so yeah, we're in December. December is usually a positive month anyway for stocks because people spend, right? I mean, it's the holidays. But I want to talk about something today again, man. I saw something online. I don't know if any of you know Ed Yardeni. He's a Wall Street economist. I mean, the guy's been around a long time. I've been around on Wall Street a long time. Ed Yardeni, he goes way, way back. When I started, like in 1979, 1980, already I think he was kind of a fixture on Wall Street. And he's one of these widely followed Wall Street economists. He has an economic consulting firm, which I'll talk about in a second. But he was interviewed by somebody from Business Insider. I didn't even know that publication still existed, or that website, I don't know. But in the interview, he said he's really, really bullish because Trump may be able to tackle, that was the word he used, Trump may be able to tackle the debt. Tackle the debt. So whenever I see stuff like that, I laugh because number one, they're talking about something that they don't even understand the consequence. They don't even understand really the whole idea of what that supposed debt is, and tackling it, the consequence. Number one, that makes me laugh because I understand. And number two, just because this guy is considered one of the big economists on Wall Street. All right. And I like to point this stuff out to you because I don't want you to fall into the trap where, and I hear this a lot, and there's a couple of things that really turn me off. Okay. And I consider them to be non-arguments. When people say things like, well, he's a well-known, well-respected so-and-so, in this case, economist, so he must know what he's talking about. No, okay? Or if somebody says, well, he's a billionaire or she's a billionaire, so she must know, she must be very, very smart and know about everything. Again, no, okay? And there's another one that I used to get hit with this all the time when I was still a contributor at Fox. And, we're talking way back in the early 2000s. I left Fox in 2012, but I was already talking about MMT stuff. And the argument against me when I was on those panels with all those people, they would say like, well, if you're right, how come nobody else says what you're saying? That's not, refuting me. That's not refuting my arguments. I mean, you could say like, you go back to the time of Copernicus when everybody thought that the sun revolved around the earth, and it definitely looks that way. I mean, you could go outside and see the sun actually move hour by hour. And it's very easy to believe, or it was very easy to believe back then, that the sun was revolving around the earth. And along comes Copernicus, who says, you know something, it's the other way around. It's a question of perspective. And everybody must have said, Copernicus, what are you, dumb? What are you, stupid? You're the only one saying that. It can't possibly be right. Everybody else is saying the opposite. So like, I don't accept those three arguments. You're rich, so you have to know everything. No, that's not true. You're a big shot in some business or industry, so, you must know what's going on. Not necessarily. All right. And nobody says what you're saying, so that automatically means you're wrong. No, it doesn't automatically mean you're wrong. So here's the thing, folks. In order to tackle the debt, and I've been through this so many times on my channel, I think a lot of you get it, but I also think a lot of you don't get it and don't want to get it. There's a difference between not getting it and not wanting to get it. Not wanting to get it, that's more serious. That's like wanting to be in a belief system which is false because it speaks to your view, okay? It rationalizes your view, and you're not interested in the truth or the facts because that would conflict with your view. So you push it away, you ignore it, you put it down. So there's still many of you like that. So here's the thing. Let's talk about this so-called debt, 36 trillion. That 36 trillion, basically held in the form of U.S. government securities, is what the world, the non-government of the United States, the whole entire rest of the world, that's what we own. That's part of our assets. Maybe not individually, but collectively as a group. That's 36 trillion in wealth, in assets, financial assets, dollar-denominated financial assets that we own. So the only way to tackle that debt in the mind of Yardeni, the government would have to take that away, and it would tax that all away, 36 trillion. So the non-government of the entire world would have 36 trillion of their wealth removed. The government would then have a zero balance, a zero debt. We would have lost 36 trillion in wealth. Now, if that were to happen, you talk about tackling. I mean, that is a faceplant of tackling, okay? And if anybody watched the Bills and the 49ers game, no, not that one. It was with Trevor Lawrence, the Jaguars game, and he got hit like so bad, man. I hope he's going to be okay. But you talk about tackling, that's a face plant. That would create the largest global depression in the history of the world, okay? But there's Ed Yardeni, high-level, well-known Wall Street economist, and I said I was going to talk about his firm. I tried to go on his website to find out what a membership or a subscription or what it is, you know, if you want to become a client of his economics consulting firm. I'm sure he charges a lot of money. Not like my little old $125 or some guy who was bitching because I charged $99 for the Treasury statement. He was, you know, I'm sure this guy, he charges maybe $100,000, well over $100,000 a year for his services. Because I know, like, institutionally, this kind of stuff, and then, you know, I'm the guy here with this little stupid channel educating you guys, at least those of you who want to be educated. I know, like I said, there's a lot of you who you don't care. You want to stay in your mythology, which is fine. It just annoys me when you come on here and you write comments about how I'm wrong. I mean, there are a lot of folks, guys, there's a lot of other YouTube channels where you can go there and you could talk about, you know, the debt and we owe money to China and the gold standard. Just go there. Go there. So I'm sure he's charging well over $100,000 a year for those services. And you don't know what you're talking about. You can't tackle the debt unless you plan on removing a vast amount of wealth from the private sector for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Because the government of the United States is the monopoly, the sovereign monopoly issuer of the US dollars. And the only promise it makes to you, which that's what a debt is, it's a promise. The only promise it makes to you, to everybody, is that it will accept its own money for the payment of taxes. It says it right on the freaking dollar bill. And that is a promise it can always keep. So there's absolutely first of all, there's absolutely zero, a problem with the government keeping that promise. In other words, making good on its debt. All right. And if you're talking about, you know, taking all those dollars away because somehow the government needs it, what are we left with? No, the world has no more dollars. Global commerce, trade, economies collapse. Totally collapse. Like the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. It would be an economic event equivalent to the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. You know, I did a video back, I don't know, a month ago or something. I said I have a dark side. That was the title of my video. Where I said, you know, sometimes I really wish they would do this. Okay? Because I want them to see, and it's kind of like, you know, it's like a death wish for all of us in a sense, at least metaphorically. Doesn't mean we're all going to die, but metaphorically, it's like a death wish because I want them to see. I want them to see what would happen. So it's not going to happen, at least not all at once. I mean, it might happen slowly. I have to say that it's now, and I did a video on this, I think it's reaching a crescendo. All this debt stuff, like we hear it from time to time, and you know, it's always been like that. But now it's kind of coming in from everywhere, and you have a new administration, and you have Elon Musk and Doge, and Ramaswamy and a lot of people who are in, the debt doomsday crowd, who really fundamentally do not understand. But they're going to be in control. So it's going to be very, very interesting. And like I said in the past, I know what to do. And I think if there was like the debt asteroid, I'm going to start calling it that, the debt asteroid, everyone's going to be affected to some degree, even people like Elon Musk. But again, I said in the past, like if Elon Musk lost 99% of his wealth, he'd still be worth like $3 billion. So like he doesn't really have anything to worry about. I mean, that would be a big hit in terms of, the nominal amount. He's already in the Guinness Book. I read he's in the Guinness Book of World Records for the person who took the biggest decline in wealth, I guess back when Tesla stock dropped or something. But now he's way back up there, obviously. And speaking of Tesla, let me just finish off with this, which I own that stock, so full disclosure. But I'm looking at that thing. That thing's market cap is it's $1.1 trillion for Tesla. And like, they're profitable, but like a few billion or so. I don't know what their net profit is, but like 1.1 trillion for that car company. I mean, when I think about it, and maybe it has a great growth future. I don't know. The Chinese are coming up with electric cars, other, manufacturers. Tesla's worth more than every single car company combined. But that just seems like, I don't know. Today I was thinking about it. I'm like, maybe I should take my profit on Tesla. 1.1 trillion for that car company. I know that's not a scientific way to value a business, but it just seems a little bit crazy to me. Anyway, that's it for today. Please like and subscribe if you choose to do that. If you've already done that, thank you very much. And don't forget to go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com. Sign up for a 30-day free trial to MMT Trader. See you tomorrow. Bye.